You know that moment when something goes wrong and your brain just blue screens? A car honks, someone yells your name, a glass tips over, and instead of acting like a capable mammal, you stand there staring at reality like it personally betrayed you. Congratulations, that's not calm, that's your survival software malfunctioning in public. Your brain has three big panic buttons: fight, flight, and freeze. Everyone talks about fight or flight like it's a heroic action movie. Nobody mentions freeze because freeze is the setting where your body decides the best course of action is to become furniture. This worked great when predators relied on movement to spot prey. A motionless human in tall grass, hard to see. A motionless human in a burning kitchen, less helpful. When stress spikes, your amygdala hijacks the controls and yanks blood flow away from the thinking parts of your brain. Logic clocks out. Muscle memory might kick in if you've trained, but if you haven't, your brain goes, let's just not. So you freeze while your heart pounds like it's trying to escape through your ribs. The problem is, modern danger doesn't usually involve saber-toothed cats. It involves fast decisions, social pressure, or situations where hesitation makes things worse. Freezing turns minor problems into full-blown disasters because your brain thinks staying still is still a valid life strategy. Basically, your nervous system is playing a prehistoric hide-and-seek game while the world is asking you to do literally anything else. You've been told to trust your gut, follow your instincts, listen to that little voice inside you. Sounds poetic. Also sounds like letting a raccoon drive your car because it feels right. Your gut instincts evolved to make snap decisions in simple environments. Friend or foe, safe or dangerous, eat berry or don't eat berry. The modern world is not that environment. Now your instincts are trying to evaluate emails, strangers on the internet, and whether that weird noise your car just made means minor issue or financial ruin. The gut is fast, not accurate. It runs on shortcuts, stereotypes, and emotional memories. If something feels familiar, your brain tags it as safe. If it feels different, it tags it as dangerous. This is why people ignore real threats because they seem nice, and panic over harmless things because they feel weird. Your instincts don't care about statistics, they care about vibes. Even worse, stress makes gut decisions louder. Anxiety cranks the volume knob so your instincts start shouting. Suddenly, every decision feels urgent and emotionally loaded. You call it intuition. It's actually your brain trying to avoid uncertainty by making something, anything, feel certain. In survival terms, blindly trusting your gut can lock you into bad patterns, bad relationships, and bad decisions that feel right but age horribly. Your instincts aren't evil, they're just outdated software running on new hardware. Basically, your gut is excellent at keeping you alive in a cave and wildly overconfident everywhere else. Imagine your brain sees discomfort the same way it sees fire. Not, this is unpleasant, but this is a threat to your existence. So every time something feels awkward, boring, painful, or emotionally weird, your brain pulls the emergency brake and screams, abort mission. Discomfort avoidance feels safe. You dodge hard conversations, you procrastinate, you scroll instead of sleep, you leave situations the moment they get tense. In the short term, it works. Anxiety drops, relief hits. Your brain throws you a little chemical party and goes, see, I saved us. Here's the survival mistake. Your brain learns that avoidance equals safety. Not actual safety, emotional comfort. Over time, your tolerance for stress shrinks. Things that used to be mildly uncomfortable now feel unbearable. Your world quietly gets smaller because your brain keeps rerouting you away from growth, challenge, and anything unpredictable. From an evolutionary perspective, discomfort was information. Hunger meant find food. Fear meant pay attention. Social tension meant fix the group dynamic before you get kicked out and eaten by something. Avoiding all discomfort cuts you off from the signals that help you adapt. So you end up safe, comfortable, and strangely fragile, like a phone with a case so thick it can't fit in your pocket anymore. Basically, your brain is trying to protect you from discomfort and accidentally turning you into a very anxious houseplant. You sit there replaying a conversation from 3 years ago like it's a courtroom drama and you're both the lawyer and the defendant. Every word, every pause, every eyebrow movement is suddenly evidence. Your brain calls this being careful. Evolution calls this we did not order this feature. Overthinking evolved as a threat detection system. If you analyze everything, maybe you can predict danger before it happens. The problem is your brain can't tell the difference between a real threat and a hypothetical social embarrassment that will never matter, so it treats both with the same intensity. Heart rate up, stress hormones released, sleep absolutely ruined. The more you overthink, the more your brain learns that thinking equals safety. Action becomes risky, decisions feel heavy. You wait for perfect certainty, which never arrives because the brain's job isn't to reassure you, it's to keep you alert. So it keeps generating what-if scenarios like it's being paid per disaster. In survival terms, overthinking freezes action. Our ancestors who stopped to deeply analyze every rustle in the bushes didn't last long. The ones who made a decent enough call and moved on did. Modern overthinking turns manageable situations into psychological minefields. Ironically, most of the outcomes you fear aren't dangerous at all. They're just uncomfortable. But your brain treats social mistakes like exile from the tribe, which used to mean death. Now it just means mild awkwardness and maybe a story you'll cringe at later. Basically, your brain is running disaster simulations for events that barely qualify as a blooper reel. You're exhausted, so you reward yourself. Snacks, screens, doom scrolling until your eyes feel like sandpaper. Your brain whispers, "You deserve this," while actively sabotaging your recovery. When you're tired, your self-control systems go offline first. That's when your brain defaults to the easiest dopamine sources available: sugar, entertainment, mindless stimulation. These feel restorative, but they're not. They just mask fatigue while digging the hole deeper. From a survival perspective, energy conservation mattered. When resources were low, rest and simple pleasures helped you recover. But modern comfort isn't rest, it's stimulation. Your brain can't tell the difference, so it keeps choosing things that feel good now and make tomorrow worse. Sleep gets delayed, stress lingers, your nervous system never fully resets. Over time, chronic fatigue becomes normal, and your brain adjusts by lowering motivation and mood. You think something's wrong with you. Really, your biology is just stuck in a loop of fake recovery. The mistake isn't enjoying comfort, it's using stimulation as a substitute for rest. Your brain thinks it's refueling, but it's actually just revving the engine in neutral. Basically, your survival instincts are trying to recharge your battery with a playlist and a bag of chips. You're uncomfortable, something feels off. Your instincts are whispering, but your manners are shouting. You don't want to be rude, you don't want to overreact, you definitely don't want to make a scene, so you stay. Humans evolved to prioritize group harmony. Being rejected by the group used to be a death sentence. So your brain is wired to avoid social conflict even when your safety is on the line. That's why people ignore red flags, laugh off threats, and downplay danger to keep things normal. Predators, manipulators, and unsafe situations exploit this. They rely on your hesitation, your politeness, your internal debate over whether you're misreading things. Your brain frames danger as awkwardness, and awkwardness feels worse. Survival-wise, this is backwards. Your instincts notice the threat. Your social conditioning overrides them. The delay can cost you time, options, and safety. Your brain doesn't want to be dramatic, but survival isn't about being nice. It's about responding early, not perfectly. Basically, your ancient fear of social rejection is arguing with your modern need to leave immediately. Your body sends you messages constantly. Tight chest, shallow breathing, jaw clenched so hard it could crack walnuts, and you respond by going, "Wow, that's weird," and then doing absolutely nothing about it. From a survival standpoint, bodily signals are the original notification system. Pain, fatigue, hunger, and stress reactions evolved to force you to pay attention and change behavior. But modern humans are very good at overriding them. Coffee replaces sleep. Painkillers replace rest. Distraction replaces emotional processing. You mute the alarm instead of checking for the fire. The problem is your body doesn't stop sending signals just because you ignore them. It turns up the volume. Chronic stress becomes chronic tension. Emotional overload becomes burnout. Small issues become expensive, dramatic ones. Your nervous system isn't being dramatic. It's escalating because subtle didn't work. Ignoring signals used to make sense in short bursts. Push through danger, then recover later. But when later never comes, your body assumes the environment is permanently unsafe. That keeps you locked in survival mode, leaking energy and focus. Basically, your body is filing repeated complaints and you're ghosting it like a bad landlord. If something feels familiar, your brain relaxes. Same route home, same habits, same people. Familiarity equals safety in your mind, even when logic is quietly waving a red flag in the background. Evolution trained your brain to treat the known as predictable, and predictable as survivable. New equals risky, old equals manageable. This worked great when environments change slowly. In the modern world, it means you trust situations just because you've survived them before. This is how people stay in unhealthy jobs, toxic relationships, and self-destructive routines. They're not safe, they're just known. The brain prefers a bad situation it understands over an uncertain one that might be better. At least with familiar pain, it knows where the exits are. The survival mistake here is confusing survival with well-being. You can survive something for a long time while it quietly drains you. Your brain calls that stability. Your nervous system calls it low-grade emergency forever. Basically, your brain would rather sit in a sinking boat it recognizes than swim toward a shoreline it hasn't seen before. Your brain tells you anxiety is useful. It says, I'm just getting you ready. You pace, you rehearse, you imagine worst-case scenarios like it's a hobby. Surely this is preparation, right? Not really. Anxiety feels productive because it's busy, but most of the time it doesn't lead to better action. It leads to paralysis, avoidance, or overcorrection. Your brain confuses worry with control. If you think about everything that could go wrong, maybe nothing will. In survival terms, short bursts of fear sharpen focus. Chronic anxiety dulls it. Your body stays tense, your attention narrows. Creativity and flexibility vanish. You're braced for impact that never comes, exhausted from a fight that hasn't started. The real danger isn't the thing you're anxious about, it's the constant stress load you carry while waiting for it. That stress slowly degrades sleep, decision-making, and health, all things you actually need to survive. Basically, your brain is shadowboxing imaginary threats and wondering why it's so tired. Here's the big one. Your brain is obsessed with survival. Avoid danger, minimize risk, don't rock the boat, stay alive, and it's very good at that. Too good. The problem is, survival mode isn't meant to be permanent. It's a temporary state, but modern life keeps triggering it with deadlines, notifications, social comparison, and constant low-level stress. So you stay guarded, cautious, and reactive long after the threat is gone. Living this way keeps you alive, but it also keeps you small. You don't take chances, you don't rest deeply, you don't fully engage. Your brain thinks it's protecting you, but it's actually preventing growth, joy, and resilience. Thriving requires tolerating uncertainty, discomfort, and risk. Survival mode hates all of those, so it fights back, convincing you that playing it safe is the same as living well. It's not. Survival is the floor, not the ceiling. That's all for today. I'll be making similar videos in the future. Subscribe to see them.